Majority of you that we do help out purchasing house within the Emerald Coast area are moving from the outside of Florida, but there have been a select few who are choosing to relocate from somewhere else in Florida into the Emerald Coast. And in this video right here, I'm going to be talking about the reasons why people are choosing this portion of Florida as compared to the other portions that they are coming from. And there has definitely been like the #1 trend why people are moving into this area as compared to these other cities within Florida. And I'm actually going to be covering that towards the end of the video, but there are about, I'd say 4 or 5 main cities that we are noticing when they are relocating to the area from these other cities that we are noticing. And the #1 that we really are seeing is like the Miami, Fort Lauderdale area. That's the main city that we are seeing people relocate into this area from. But then also we've seen people come here from Tampa. We have seen people come here from Orlando. And then last but not least, we have helped fellow Floridians move here from Jacksonville. These are all going to be just pretty much personal experiences, what we are hearing from you local Floridians moving into the area and the reasons why you are moving here. And I came up with 5 different things. Just going back in my notes, I'm like, what is the main reason people are like, you know what, I live this portion of Florida, but I want to now live in this portion of Florida? And so we have 5 different reasons. And I'm going to kind of throw them in there like from like mild to, actually, no, you know what, I'm just going to scatter them. That's what I'm going to do. So the first reason that we are noticing why people are relocating in this area is deep sea fishing. This is something that I cannot speak too much to because I personally haven't been deep sea fishing yet. Majority of the times when I am going out fishing, it's on the sound, right? It's really not that deep sea. Like, it really doesn't get any deeper than like 8 to 10 feet within the sound. That's the majority or the main fishing that I personally do. I've never really done deep sea, but we have helped out a few of you who have relocated to this area saying that the deep sea fishing here is much better as compared to these other areas of Florida that you did relocate to. Again, like I said, I don't know too much about this, but apparently if you are relocated up into this Emerald Coast area, you do not have to go out as far within the Gulf in order to obtain that deep sea fishing. In some portions that you did come from, you're saying you're going out, it's like a fourth of the distance as compared to where you came from. I believe that was when they came in here from a Clearwater area, right around there. But yeah, deep sea fishing is one of those reasons that we do see why people are relocating into the Emerald Coast. And fishing is a huge culture here within the Emerald Coast, something that happens quite often with many of the locals. We love to do our fishing here. Like I said, deep sea, it is a thing, and we have our seasons for it. So if you are one of those deep sea fishermen within the Florida area or anywhere, just know that we have helped out so many people relocate here from another portion of Florida to take advantage of that deep sea fishing. The second reason that we are noticing, and this is actually, I'd say this is #2 reason why we are seeing people relocating to this area from other portions of Florida. And we're going to be talking about the cost of living. This is definitely up there, but it is not the #1. Like I said, I am going to tell you the #1 reason that we are seeing why people are relocating here from within Florida. But yeah, cost of living, and it is something that it's definitely going up in the Pensacola metro area and then also the Emerald Coast as it becomes more popular. That is why we are covering 30A. 30A is definitely much more expensive as compared to a lot of the different areas. So this is mainly talking about like the Pensacola metro area, right? Just how much cheaper it is. Even if we're going down to talking about Fort Walton Beach, Niceville, these different areas, people are saying how much cheaper it is to live. And I actually pulled a few stats. Most of these are I'm going to be comparing to the city of Pensacola to these other cities that people are relocating from. So I said Miami, right? So if we talk about Miami, and these are all based off of the numbers from bestplaces.net, how expensive these cities are compared to Pensacola. So Miami, comparing Miami to Pensacola, Miami is coming in at 40.4% more expensive than Pensacola. What are the considerations or the main cost of living that go into this overall number for the 40.4? So this is when we're talking about your transportation, your utilities, your groceries, your housing. Housing is actually one of the main factors as to why this area is so much cheaper. But yeah, Pensacola is going to be 40.4% cheaper than Miami. Then we look at Fort Lauderdale, which is just a little bit further north of Miami. Fort Lauderdale is going to be 24.2% more expensive then Pensacola. Next one we're going to be talking about is Tampa. Tampa comes in at 17.1% more expensive than Pensacola. Then if we look over at Orlando, Orlando comes in at 19.1% more expensive than Pensacola. And last but not least, we are going to be looking at Jacksonville, and Jacksonville isn't as much as these other cities. It comes in at 7.5% more expensive than Pensacola. I should have pulled your median sales price of housing, because you guys are mainly watching this channel because you want to relocate to the area. You want to know what the cost of housing is within the area. I know you just like throw you some numbers. I think Pensacola's median sales price as of July of 2025, if I get my numbers correct, was in the high 200s, where I guarantee Miami and all these different areas is going to be double, if not triple that, when we are talking about your median sales price. Just know that housing is pretty reasonable here. Depends on where you're at. Obviously, if you want to be closer to the water, when we're talking about Gulf Breeze, Navarre, even Destin, Miramar, going all the way down into the 30A, it is going to be a little bit more expensive. But if we are talking about that cost of living with housing, comparing Pensacola to a lot of these other cities, it is going to be much cheaper, and it is definitely one of the top reasons why we are seeing so many other Floridians moving into this area. The third reason that we have been noticing is climate. And here's one thing that we always get when we talk about people relocating to Florida is, for some reason, it seems like everyone thinks that Florida weather is the same no matter where you're all the way down in the Keys or all the way up here in the Panhandle. That is not true, and this is something that has been super appealing, where people want to take advantage of the climate that we have in Pensacola. Same thing can be said about people who do not like the climate within Pensacola, is the fact that in the wintertime, it actually gets cooler in Pensacola as compared to a lot of these different areas. There are times, we personally have a property right outside of Clearwater, right outside of Tampa, that we know that it is much warmer down there in the wintertime as compared to Pensacola. And I actually pulled some numbers from you, and these, I actually don't know the source that I pulled these from, but I did pull them all from the same source just to make sure that we're comparing apples to apples on the same websites, because sometimes it could get a little skewed, right? All right, so climate. So when we're talking about Pensacola, your average highs in the wintertime, when we talk about wintertime, we're talking about the months of December, January, and February. The average highs is going to be 62 to 64 degrees. This is actually one of the big reasons, not the main reason, but one of the big reasons why we did choose Pensacola over these other areas, because like I said, we were looking at Tampa. We were looking kind of a little further south in Fort Myers, Northport, those areas, but we came from Colorado, guys, in the Midwest, where we enjoyed our winters, but it seemed it lasted way too long, and we really didn't like the snow anymore, considering the fact that I was a 5th generation native. I was done shoveling the snow, right? But we still wanted this cooler weather, you know, going into fall, winter, and then also springtime, and that is one big reason why we chose Pensacola. It is cooler here. Let's go ahead and look at some of these numbers. So the next one is going to be Miami. Your average high in Miami during the wintertime is 76 degrees. Like I said, this is your average high, so just know that it could definitely break into the 80s during the wintertime. Then if we look at Tampa, your average highs are between 71 and 73 degrees. Still warmer than Pensacola. Then if we go over into Orlando, it's actually very similar to Tampa. It's not far from there, which makes sense. Your average highs are 71 to 74 degrees. And then Jacksonville, this one actually makes sense because this one has the closest climate to Pensacola. Your average highs are 65 to 68, and it's literally, if you like look at the latitude, Pensacola and Jacksonville are almost right on the same line. So Jacksonville is a little bit warmer, and it always differs, right? So we have seen people who are like moving here from Miami, Fort Lauderdale area. They're like, I am over the heat. I want a break from the heat when it comes down to winter time. And that's why they enjoy the fall, winter, and spring that we do have within Pensacola. They'll get a chance to get away from, because we love the summer times, guys. We love going to the beach. We love being able to do all the things in the sun, but it is nice getting that cool down come fall time into the winter, and then also spring. The fourth one is, okay, so the fourth one, I feel like it's not one of the top reasons that when we are talking to people who are relocating here, but once you come here, or once you kind of experience it, come here for a week and really kind of analyze the area of Pensacola going all the way down into 30A, you bring this up often that you really fell in love with this about the area. But before I do that, guys, if you are looking at purchasing real estate in the Emerald Coast, we are talking Pensacola going all the way down into 30A. We are your top relocation experts. Make sure you give us a call or text at that phone number right below right there. We always answer, doesn't matter date or time. Like I said, I am a licensed realtor along with my team who help you guys out purchase real estate within the area. But if you're not quite ready to purchase and you just want to educate yourself on the Emerald Coast, Make sure you follow along by smashing that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up, notification bell. That way you're notified every single time I put out a brand new video. And guys, if you are looking into 30A, make sure you do hit that notification bell, because next week we are going to be doing our first video down into 30A with Reagan on our team to start recording that area, really exposing that area. So make sure you do follow along so that you can see what comes out about the 30A area. All right, that fourth reason is going to be Southern hospitality. You come here and it does feel a little bit more like Alabama as compared to the rest of Florida, right? Everyone's got the y'alls. Everyone says yes ma'am, no sir, all the things, you know, and it's pretty freaking cool. Something that we kind of fell in love with, you know, coming from the Midwest, especially like the Denver metro area. This is stuff that was never before us at all. No one really did this. No one really used their ma'ams or sirs or any of those things. But in the y'all, guys, I'm still not quite there doing the whole y'all thing. My wife, Chelsea, she is all about it. She's always saying y'all and everything. But the Southern hospitality here is a thing. And there's times where, like when we first moved here, we didn't realize how friendly everyone is. Everyone's waving to you. Everyone is always kind of looking out for each other. Something that was amazing that we did find out after moving here. And there's so many Floridians who move here. They're like, this doesn't feel like Florida. You guys are really nice here. It's like, yes, we are really nice here. We are super community within the Emerald Coast. And it's one of those things that you guys just honestly like fall in love with if you didn't already know about the Emerald Coast area. All right, that number one reason why you guys are relocating into this area from other areas of Florida is the busyness and the traffic, right? They're just like, I'm so sick of where I'm coming from, how congested it is. I want to go somewhere and where it's slowed down a little bit, where I'm not having to worry about traffic nonstop, where I'm not always having to worry about the crowds, all the congestion that comes with that. And that is definitely something that you can get away from coming into this area. But then you might be saying, Pete, I thought you said that you get tourists and all these things. Still, even during hot tourist season, it is nothing compared to a lot of these larger cities. I'm gonna tell you right now, like we went to Disney, it was about a year ago, so October of 2024. And guys, like I said, I came from Denver, right? So I was used to the crazy, insane traffic and all those things. But we went down to Orlando and did the whole Disney thing, and guys, we were getting like PTSD from the amount of traffic, the craziness of traffic that was there, the insane amount of crowds and stuff. So I didn't realize, just being here just a couple years outside of that big city lifestyle, how I just calmed down and slowed down so much more until I went to Orlando and really realized how much I actually enjoy this slowdown, how much I enjoy the lack of crowds that we do have here. And when we do have it, it really isn't that bad whatsoever. There are other portions of area that tourists really like to flock to, more so than this Pensacola area. I'm going to be specific because we all know that Destin gets crazy. I don't even like going to Destin, guys, because of how crazy it gets over in Destin. But that just shows that people even in Florida come here to get away from the craziness of the remainder of Florida. We all have seen how busy or crazy that Sarasota has gotten in the last like 5 years, pretty much since COVID. Everyone wanted to move into like the Sarasota metro area, and it has gotten insane there. That is something that has not happened here, and I don't foresee it happening. Everyone's like, hey Pete, you know, you're trying to drive everyone into this area. Here's what the thing is, you're going to come here whether you're watching us or not. So it's not necessarily us. I don't have that pull doing it, but it is nice knowing that it is so much slower here. We don't have to worry about that traffic and that congestion, and something that you might really like, along with these other Floridians, kind of having that slower lifestyle, slowing down a bit, that slower pace of life. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I greatly appreciate it. If you are looking at personal real estate here in the Emerald Coast, we are realtors helping you out with all of your home purchases. Give us a call or text at that phone number right below. Right about there, we always answer. It doesn't matter day or time. But if you're not quite ready to purchase, make sure you follow along by smashing that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up, notification bell. That way you're notified every single time I put out a brand new video. Like I said, we are breaking into 30A. Those videos are going to start posting next week. So if you are looking in this entirety of the Emerald Coast, make sure you give us a call or text, or just hit the subscribe button. Thumbs up. Until next time, we love you.